solve the equation for question 1a. Solve the equation. This one looks like it is not a perfect square. Okay, it's not any special way, so we just do the cross method. So we put the 6x to be 2x and 3x, so that will be 6x squared. And then we have maybe a 3 and a 4 here to make this negative and make this negative, so that together you have negative 9x minus 8x, so it's negative 17x. This is 12, this is 6x squared. Okay, so here we can factorize. This will be 2x minus 3 times 3x minus 4 equals to 0. So 2x minus 3 equals to 0, or 3x minus 4 equals to 0. So x is actually 3 over 2, or x is equals to 4 over 3, or in other words, you say this is 1.5, or x equals to 1 and 1/3. Okay, question 2. We have x minus 2 on the left hand side. The denominator on the other side is x minus 2 also. So if we were to cross multiply, we'll have x minus 2 squared equals to 9. Please do not go and expand it out. This is already a perfect square. This side also can be can take the square root. So x minus 2 will be 3, or x minus 2 will be negative 3. So x will be equals to 3 plus 2, so it's 5, or x is equals to negative 3 plus 2, which is negative 1. Okay, next one. This question C, on the left hand side, it is not a 0, so we cannot use null factor law. So we have to expand the whole thing. 2x times x minus 5, and then this 1 times x minus 5. So you have 2x squared minus 10x minus x plus 5 equals to 5. So on the left and the right hand side, you have both 5. So you subtract 5 from both sides, so these are gone. So you're having 2x, okay, 2x squared minus 11x equals to 0. Take the x common factor out, so you have 2x minus 11 equals to 0. So this is a product, so either one of them has to be 0. So x is 0, or x is equals to 5.5. So this is the answer. Next one, again, there's constant term, then constant term here, so we're going to expand everything out and simplify. So 6 into a squared minus 10a plus 25 plus 7a minus 38 equals to 0. I'm keeping one side to be equals to 0. So I have 6a squared minus 60a plus 150 plus 7a minus 38 equals to 0. So I have 6a squared minus 53a plus 112 equals to 0. Okay, this one obviously we have to do the cross method. So 2a, 3a, 7 and 16. So you have 21a and 32a, so together is 53a. So I need the a to be negative, so these are all negative. So I have 2a minus 7 times 3a minus 16 equals to 0. So 2a minus 7 equals to 0, or 3a minus 16 equals to 0. So a is 3.5, or a is 5 and 1/3. Okay, 5 and 1 is a perfect square of 2x minus 3, so I'll get 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Okay, and then this one I have minus 7x plus 6 multiply into each, so I have 6x squared plus 6x minus 12 equals to 0. Okay, minus 4x squared plus 12x minus 9 minus 7x plus 6x squared plus 6x minus 12 equals to 0. So take the x square term, I have 2x square. Take the x term, I have this, and this, so I have 11x, and then I have minus 21 equals to 0. So 2x and x, and then if I use 3 and 7, so this will be 14 and 3x, so together you want it to be minus here and plus here, so this is plus and minus, so add together is 11x. Okay, so I have 2x minus 3 times x plus 7 equals to 0. So x is actually 1.5, or x is equals to negative 7. Next one, 1f. Okay, there's a fraction here. We need to get rid of the fraction. So we multiply the whole equation by x minus 1. So I will have this minus of x minus 1, multiply whole equation by x minus 1. Then I expand this part, 2x squared minus 2x plus x minus 1 plus x plus 1, minus become plus, and then plus become minus, and then plus become minus, and 0. Okay, see, I'm getting one side to be 0. Okay, so I have 2x squared. So this, and this cancel out, so I have plus x. Okay, and then this and this cancel out, so I left with minus 1 equals to 0. So 2xx, and then I have 1, and I put a plus here, and no, sorry, I put a minus here, and a plus here. Okay, so I have 2x minus 1 times x plus 1 equals to 0. So x is equals to half, or x is equals to negative 1. Question 2. There are two numbers differ by 9. Okay, so I say let the numbers be x and then x plus 9. So the first part, we are supposed to write down the reciprocal of these two numbers in terms of x. So it will be 1 upon x and 1 upon x plus 9. Okay, part 2. Okay, the difference of their reciprocal is 9 upon 112. So which is smaller? So this number is smaller than this one, so I will use the larger number minus the smaller number, and the difference is 9 over 112. Okay, so the common denominator will be x times x plus 9 times 112. Okay, so this one multiply with 112 times x plus 9, and then this one multiply with 112 times x, and then this one multiply with x times x plus 9. Okay, so I now have 112x plus 112 times 9 minus 112x equals to 9x squared plus 81x. 9x squared, these two cancel out. So I have 9x squared plus 81x minus 9 times 112 equals to 0. Every term I divide by 9. So I have x squared plus 9x minus 112 equals to 0. So factorize it to be 16 and 7. Plus here, minus here. So I have x plus 16 times x minus 7 equals to 0. So I form an equation and reduces it to be this term already, and then I solve this equation to find the possible values of these two numbers. Okay, so I have here x is equal to negative 16, or x is equals to 7. So when one of them, x is equals to negative 16, my second number will be x plus 9, which is negative 16 plus 9, which means I'm getting negative 7. And when x is equals to 7, I'll have x plus 9, which is 7 plus 9, which is 16. So therefore, the numbers are, okay, negative 7 and negative 16, or 7 and 16. Either both are positive or both are negative. This is question 2. Question 3, the product of 3 consecutive positive integers is 120 times their sum. What's the middle number? Okay, I want to let the 3 numbers, I want to make it as simple as possible. I will let the 3 numbers, okay, let the 3 numbers be, okay, one of them is x minus 1. One of them is x. One of them is x plus 1. So that the 3 consecutive numbers. Okay, so the product of these 3 numbers is 100. So the product, so x times x minus 1 times x plus 1, okay, is equals to 120 times their sum. So what's their sum? Their sum will be x minus 1 plus x plus x plus 1. Okay, so this is the equation, the most important equation that you have to form. Okay, so here I have a plus 1 and a minus 1 cancel out, and so I have 120 times 3x. As for this one, I have x squared minus 1. This is the a plus b, a minus b, so times x. Okay, so now I'm not going to multiply in. I'm going to see the x, and there's an x here, so I'm going to bring x out. So when I bring x out, I'm getting x squared minus 1 minus 360 equals to 0. Okay, so x times x squared 19. So I can put it to be x plus 19, and then x minus 19 equals to 0. Okay, so I'm solving a cubic equation, but the cubic equation look like a quadratic because my x is all the way outside. Okay, so therefore, I have either x is 0, or x plus 19 is a 0, or x minus 19 is a 0. So x is either negative 19 or x equals to 19. So there are 3 answers. Okay, but the x cannot be equals to 0. If x equals to 0, the product will never be 120. Okay, so x must be larger than 0. Okay, because the question also says it's positive integer. So therefore x must be equals to 19. So the numbers are now 18, 19, and 20. Okay, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, question 4. Distance between two towns A and B is 10 km. John walks from A to B at the average speed of v km per hour. Write down an expression in terms of v for the time he took for the journey. Okay, so distance divided by speed. So that is the time. That is part A. Part B. Return journey, his average speed was less. So 10 divided by v minus 1. So that is the number of hours. Okay, and so next part here, given the difference between these two times was 30 minutes. Okay, so which one more, which one less? When you divide by a smaller number, so it will be larger. Okay, so that means the second number is larger than the first number, and their difference is 30 minutes. This is in hour, so 30 minutes, that will be equals to half. Okay, repeat this part. There shouldn't be any v here. So 10 times v minus 1 times 2. Okay, and then this is 2. Okay, so I now have 20v. So here is 20v. 20v. And then this one will be plus 20. Okay, so this 2 cancel out, so I have v squared minus v minus 20 equals to 0. Okay, factorize it to be v minus 5, v plus 4 equals to 0. So v is equals to 5 or v equals to negative 4. Okay, since v refers to the velocity, so it must be a positive number. So therefore, we only accept v equals to 5. Okay, next one, we are supposed to solve this equation. This is actually our part D already. Okay, and then find the time taken. Okay, so find the time taken for the whole journey. So time taken will be 10 divided by v, which is 5, plus 10 divided by 5 minus 1. So this will be 2 hours, and this will be 2.5 hours. So that gives us 4.5 hours total time taken. Question 5a, y is actually equals to x minus 1 times x plus 3. So we can find out what are the coordinates of P and Q. At P and Q, the y is actually a 0. So when we put x minus 1 times x plus 3 equals to 0, so x is either a 1 or x equals to a negative 3. So the negative 3 to be at the, so P is at negative 3 and 0, and Q is at, okay, 1 and 0. Okay, so this is part 1 and part 2. Next one, part 3. What are the coordinates of C? Coordinates of C, that means we let at C, the x is equals to 0. So we have y equals to 0 minus 1 times 0 plus 3. So we have negative 3. Okay, so therefore C is at 0 and negative 3. Okay, next, question 4. What is the coordinates of M? Coordinates of M, so M is the minimum point. Okay, M is the minimum point. So if we want to find out what are the coordinates of the minimum point, so we will look at the x coordinates. The x coordinates is actually, one of them is 1, one of them negative 3. So we have 1 plus negative 3 and take the midpoint. So the two values add together, divide by 2. So we have negative 1 as the x coordinates. Okay, what about the y value? So if we put x as negative 1, we will get negative 1 minus 1 and then plus this one. So there will be negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. Okay, so therefore we can say M is at negative 1 and negative 4. Next one, we want to write down the equation of a straight line drawn on the same axis to solve this equation. Okay, x minus 1 times x plus 3 and then equals to negative 2. Our equation is this already, so that means we need to add the line. What line is it? Okay, this is part B. Yeah? The line of y equals to negative 2. So the equation of straight